All right, we are live. Welcome. I'm here with Megan Covington. She is our guest interviewer today, and by her own rights and by the world's as well. She is an amazing channel and medium. So I am happy to have her here. And what is your website again? Can you tell us so that people can find you? I love your work, and I want to make sure everyone knows about you.
Thank you. It's megancovington.com. MEGAN Covington, COVINGTON.com.
Yep. Amazing channel right there.
Thank you.
So this is how it works. We basically don't do a lot of pre-chat. We go straight into trance. Megan's going to be taking your questions from the Google Hangouts chat section. That's where you interact with us. I'm going to be in trance as usual. I don't do a lot of clear conduit these days. There are a few left on YouTube, but trance just seems to get the information across a lot more clearly and keeps my head out of the way. And it's easier for me physically and emotionally as well. That way I'm not crying like I was 2.5 years ago, like in the Jesus channelings. So there's been some interesting things happening today since December the 12th, actually. And this particular collective has helped me through the immense changes that have been occurring, the vast shifts that are going through the human conscious collective right now and the light workers. So if you're going through that with me, you have my heart. I'm sure most of you are who are watching. Yeah, it's been an amazing time. So I want to make sure that everything is set up on my end. I believe that it is. We're good. All right. Please make sure, if you don't mind, in the chat section, when you ask your questions, that once I go into trance, that's the time that we kind of keep the chat between you a little bit, down, so that Megan can just take a peek at the chat and not have to scroll through a lot of stuff. That way she can get to your questions super fast. There are some of you that asked some questions on my Patreon site as well. So if you're going to be watching this from YouTube later, you'll notice that in order to get into the live sessions and to be a part of them, that you do have to join my Patreon site. So that's patreon.com/Pamela Aaralyn. That's where you find me for all future channelings if you would like to interact with us live. So what else? I don't think I'm saying anything. I guess we can go ahead and go into trance. Thanks, Megan.
Yeah. Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome. We're so honored and pleased to have you here speaking with us.
I am Adamus. I am speaking on behalf of Talos and the Inner Earth Collective. There are many of us amongst you today in your hearts, and we journey through you, and you journey through us. There are many dimensional existences through which we have met, and we seek the glorious reunion of our hearts together as family. You may begin with your query.
Thank you. We'll start with a fun one. Can you please describe a typical day in Lemuria?
This gives us a brief time to describe to you the various dimensional existences through which you come and through which we as a collective are operating. There are many tunnels through external Earth that have been in existence in your civilizations as humans throughout the beginnings of what you know within your time. Lemurians and the higher collectives understand that time does not exist, but within your beliefs and stories of creation, many throughout the Ecuador, through China, through India, through Peru, through various portals of Earth, have come into our tunnels and interwoven systems through which your Americans, North Americans, South Americans, Indians of all varieties, as you have called them, have traveled in these vast mapped systems. It is easy to mistake this for Lemuria. Throughout the first 150 miles underneath the Earth's crust, there are vast tunneling systems that would allow North Americans and South Americans, many indigenous tribes, to meet, perhaps secretly and privately. And we were discussing things that were being taught to us directly from Telos, directly from various levels of Argathia and various dimensions. And we brought these teachings through the Native Americans, other indigenous races of Indians throughout your world. And since the beginnings of time, we have been sharing the collectives of these teachings. But it would be easy to misunderstand the differences between this inner collective of Lemuria and outer collective of Lemuria. Do you understand?
That was actually a question that was posed of the difference between the Lemurians on the surface and the Lemurians not on the surface. Will you elaborate on that more, please?
And we shall arrive. There are vast differences. We wish for you not to combine this as one race. There are hundreds and thousands of races of Lemurians, and for those that are still on the surface, they are by far the indigenous races that you have called Indians or Native Americans, Peruvians, if you will, Mayans, Hyperboreans, many various races that are directly beneath your surface, and some being non-sentient, some being sentient, has various lifestyles that cannot be described, for they do not age. For instance, there was a portal that was found in Germany at one point in time. Immediately under the earth, there was a tunnel that was discovered that scientists had believed would go very, very deeply into the core of Earth. And this is on your scientific records to date. However, the Lemurians that occupied these tunnels are primarily non-sentient, and some of which would be reptilian, Hyperborean races. Not that this would be a difficult life to comprehend if you were of that race, but you hold no reference point to understand the outer collective of what you have called inner earth. Therefore, the inner collective may be easier to comprehend. A day in the life of a standard Lemurian in an inner collective is love. We are traveling through time and we are masters of portals. We create various portals in order to visit, in order to help with methods of ascension, and we have done so. We have connected to our loved ones and family on the surface of Earth for the past 10,000 years, at least from what you would understand in your reference point. And this is the only thing that can be scientifically described in any validated way. The life is simple. We do not eat. We do not sleep. We bilocate. We project through various portals. We simply teach. We are guides. We have vast levels of interdispersed technologies in many systems and in many dimensions that help with your health, your levels of ascension, your emotional well-being, your physical maladies, if you will, can be healed almost instantaneously with our technology, which is primarily Atlantean. And we simultaneously connect you with grace. And we are prepared to teach you and answer any questions in relation to grace today.
Beautiful. Thank you.
It is our honor.
Okay, here's a question. How can one travel to the inner earth? Will there be a time where we can go there with our physical bodies?
Your physical bodies are primarily a composite that is of third-dimensional material, and it is the content of higher dimensional frequencies that would cause you to interact with us. Your physical body would not go through a physical third-dimensional tunnel. These are the contrived stories that cause separation in your beliefs. You do not need to do this. Simply raise your frequency and do so as a commitment, discipline, daily. Ascension is a commitment, and you have chosen the hardest of form. The most difficult path of ascension is amongst you. Yet you consider that you are in an earth prison, and you hold many fears. We are here to dissuade you from such fears. We are here to release them and to help you understand that without the fears, there would be no prison, there would be no disillusion, there would be no, as you have called it, matrix. There would be none of such.
Thank you.
The only wall that you have from us is not a physical tunnel. It is a wall of separation that is rather invisible, and this wall is your belief systems. Who and what would you be without belief systems? There would be no concern over right or wrong decisions. Discernment is natural through the universal laws of grace.
That is beautiful. Thank you. Okay, we are all ascending, developing together. Since ascension is going within a within process, how do you experience and perceive what we call the ascension process?
Consider how you have labeled us inner earth. What if ascension were nothing to achieve? What if it were not a goal? For it is all already within you, in the core of your hearts. Would you perceive yourselves as hollow? Or would you perceive yourself as profound, wise, discernment capable beings? Ascension is a matter of going within, and it is immensely simple. It is a revelation of sorts. It is not birth, it is not death, it is not rebirth, it is not anything that can be defined with human words. It is simply going within, the beautiful reunion of grace, the recollection of who and then what you are. And you have found a rather miserable way about it by going through belief systems, and you seem to discern what is not you, who you are not initially, and we are helping you achieve a different source, a different answer through which currently you have no reference point, for it is not the human way, it is not the human wisdom, and we are teaching you something, yet you grasp for things to become logical, to make sense in your dimension. And this theory we ask you to release, for today's channeling will reveal to you that there is nothing logical. You cannot grasp ascension. You cannot push it forward. You cannot make yourself different than who and what you are, but simply release what you believe that you are, and the answer lies uncovered, simply put, and you begin to observe the truth.
Thank you. Can you please talk about the connection between the Lemurians, the Pleiadians, the Atlanteans, and Avalon in Glastonbury, England?
There are many connections. You have formulated many stories, and through the lapse of time, you create these stories to be beautiful, some to be disastrous, some to be full of catastrophic events, and you do this to catalyze you. You do this because you require the achingly beautiful discernment that causes you to connect to the human story. It is not a matter of if it is true or if it is not. It is a matter of what you will believe. We do not personally formulate a connection to this place in your time, but that does not mean that it does not exist. Your stories are still beautiful, although intricately evolved in your minds, in your egos, to give you reason to hang on in a difficult time. But these stories are just that, stories. What are you without all of these definitions of what and who we are? Avalon is beautiful on paper. It is more so in the center of Earth, but you cannot contrive it. Therefore, you duplicate it in your minds, a story, a belief system, to make life on Earth easier. And we honor and validate. We hold a space of compassion. We are present for you. We are here, and we will honor your stories if you believe that they are true.
Thank you. I'm getting told that we're having a lot of feedback right now. May we please have Pamela come back and we will start again?
If it is your will.
Thank you.
Complaining about feedback.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, everybody's saying that their feedback is fine and other people are saying that it wasn't. So thank you.
Okay, well, I guess it's better safe than sorry. They have the tendency to blow my mic.
Thank you, everybody, for being patient.
Yeah. Give me a moment again, please.
Thank you. Welcome.
We are happy you're still with us.
Thank you for rejoining us. We really appreciate that. Okay. Here's a question. How is your relationship on the one hand to the Hyperboreans and on the other hand to the Arcturians and the group from Orion? Are they looking for the best interest of us as humans? And why have they not done more for us?
Your question implies that there would be various hands that exist and that are separate from each other. On one hand, this, on one hand, that, are not the hands belonging to the same body. Why does this hand not help that hand? Perhaps this hand should speak to that hand. Simultaneously, you operate in your belief systems. There is nothing extraneous within the Arcturian culture and race. You are the Arcturians. You are simultaneously the Hyperboreans. You are simultaneously the Telosians the moment you raise your frequency. And this is our goal, to help you release the lower frequencies that are attached throughout the levels of Hyperborean race. And in your stories, you have contrived that they can be negative. You have contrived in your stories that Arcturians can be neutral, non-sentient, and that they do not care for you. However, could you stand to understand, within the realms of equality, that they do not wish to disturb your delicate, intricate ecosystem? Within your system of beliefs, if any one thing is disturbed, your universal gains will not produce the outcome that you, as divine beings, seek ultimately. Therefore, you have asked the Arcturians not to help you. There are many Arcturians who are now beginning to project into earthly conscious bodies. And as they habitate you and awaken you, then you help the human race. It is your goal and your duties within your efforts. If you could awaken each other, then you would realize there is nothing extra terrestrial, abnormal. There is no separation. There is no truth in ulterior motives and negative agendas, except for when you have asked for this story to be true as a part of your evolution and ascension experience. If you ask someone not to help you, and then they do not, do you forgive? Is there anything to forgive in the higher planes even? There is only something to forgive in your universal realities of the third dimensional consciousness. We cannot state that we align or that we are not aligned with one race or another race based upon third dimensional belief systems of good or bad. We can simply state that there are various motives that serve you because you have asked. Do you understand?
I very much understand. Thank you. I'm sure there are many of us that will understand. Okay, moving forward. Thank you again. That really melted my heart. Native Americans ate meat, but they respected Earth and understand the circle of life connection. Can you please speak about eating meat?
In the higher dimensions, upper fifth dimension, 6th, 11th, we as Telosians in Argathia do not eat at all because there is no particular reason to do so. We maintain our energy through sound, the frequencies of Gaia, and through the resonance of light in our technologies from many suns, many galaxies, many universes, and we are the masters of the time portal. And we are attempting to teach you the same. It is not a matter of what you eat. It is not what goes into your mouth that will cause concern for your bodies. It is what you believe that causes concern for your bodies. If your belief systems are aligned that this eating is negative, then it shall be so, and then you will remain in a state of disease and of endless maladies and conditions. Yet you have chosen those conditions, and they serve you to release them, and the reward is vast when you do so. Bless what you eat always. The matter of blessing is in alignment with the frequency of grace. And when you do so, what goes into your mouth will be healthy if your belief system aligns, and if it does not, then your blessing will be neutral. But if you can begin to believe your blessings, this is a powerful experience for the third dimension. Many of you because of the Telos portal that occurred beginning on December the 12th, 2017, ending on January the 11th, 2018, are occurring simultaneously together as soul families, understanding for once that there is no such division. How can anyone not be soul family? How can anyone not be of you? You have chosen this manner of ecosystem about eating or not because it serves you, and that is all. Why attach any belief to it?
Thank you. Wow, this is outstanding and beautiful, and I can't thank you enough. Can you give us more information regarding healing energy?
We have been imparting such information for centuries and beyond, but we will give you the mythology from Talos involving the sacred geometry of the Tetractys. It involves 10 points of existence within which are 10 portals that you have created and we have aligned to help you since the beginning of your Earth creation. In the beginning of this channeling, we listed the various points of those creations of portals, particularly throughout the Equator, China, India, Peru. There are a few in the United States and California. There is one in Utah. There is one in the mountains of the Carolinas, particularly around North Carolina. For North Carolinians, follow your parkway. There are vast portals, and you can connect to all of them together by visualizing the Tetractys. One of the original Arcturian beings who also had many Telosian experiences on your planet was well familiar with these sacred shapes. You have named him Pythagoras, and he holds many vital informations about ascension techniques from Talos and from the Argathians as a whole. He created a sequence of sound, and within the Pythagorean theorem, there is much to be discussed in relation to sound and how the waves of sound, when amplified correctly and dispersed throughout the mitochondria in your bodies, can release disease. The problem is that your beliefs recreate them. However, the sacred shape within the Tetractys will help you release beliefs one by one because of the points on this shape. It activates the points on your body that correspond to the portals on Earth that we have created with you.
Thank you. Let's see, there's a question on when I meditate on the inner earth and bring love energy into her, I envision a sun-like energy in a huge crystal chamber, all glowing. Is there any truth to this?
There was once a Norwegian scientist who discovered something similar about our sun within Talos. He was embarking upon a mission, and he had walked, beginning in 1985, for precisely 1 year, having lost himself in Talos. After discovering the colder regions of the North Pole, he began to notice that the sun waters became warmer, and there were lands that he had no longer understood.
Thank you. Let's see. You are frozen for me. This is completely frozen. Can you please bring Pamela back? We had no audio and it was completely frozen.
If it is your wish.
Thank you.
Hold on, wait. Where am I? Oh, YouTube. Okay. Hello. Audio. Oh, okay.
I completely froze up, and then you froze up and I couldn't hear anything, and then other people couldn't hear anything.
Okay. What he's telling me that happened, hopefully you can hear me now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happened was we had a human disturbance because my son had come home from school. So he
Can you hear me? Hello?
Can you hear me now?
I can now. Yeah, it completely froze up again.
It says our connectivity is bad. I don't know how to fix that because
I don't either.
pretty good.
Mine keeps going like it's all the way active and then it completely freezes as well.
Okay.
But this is a super intense channeling. They're beautiful. My heart feels wide open. So frozen.
Off your camera, that may help a good bit.
Okay, wait, hang on just a second. You were completely frozen again. What did you say?
I don't know what to do.
I know.
Because
like you're
following everything in our microphones and our internets and everything is completely I don't want to go back in trance if people can't hear us.
I know. Yeah, some can hear you and some can only hear me. I'm frozen.
I did. I reset my mic like 4 times.
I did too.
And you're still freezing off and on.
So are you.
Okay. It says my network is doing something. You want to go check it and see if it's on?
Yes, it's on.
Okay.
Internet can't keep up with their frequency.
Oh, I can't ground it out that easily.
I know. I'm totally grounding myself.
I'm even sitting with a crystal.
Oh, I have them under my feet too.
Yeah, me too. So I'm sitting with my inner earth portal crystal and everything. Maybe I should put it down.
I know, right? Okay, they're saying they can hear us now. So I don't know.
Okay, shake it off, whatever it is.
Right?
Well, I didn't want to go back into trance and then have everything happen all over again. So once we get a direct confirmation from everybody in chat that we're still doing okay, we'll restart for a little bit longer.
Okay.
Because we still have plenty of time.
Okay.
So once I get a lot of yeses and we can keep going and we can get a lot of people talking in chat, letting us know that we're clear, then we will continue and we'll try one more time. Yeah, they're very powerful. Okay. All right. Looks like we're good. Okay. I will put my crystal down and not touch the crystal up underneath my feet either. And we'll try again.
That's what I'm doing as well.
We'll put the crystals down. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to scroll back through these again. Just you go into trance. Thank you. Welcome back.
We apologize for the disturbances.
No apologies necessary, but we, again, are pleased to have you back with us. All right, we'll do this again. Will you please describe some of the animals that were saved from extinction that now live in Agartha?
I believe I was in the presence of discussing a story that will elaborate upon just that. Back to your Norwegian scientist. In 1985, when he began his travels throughout the northern poles, he began to observe that the lands were shifting. The waters were warmer. The animals in the waters there were vast types of beasts that were only noticed in myths, particularly in ancient India. And within these myths of what you have deemed serpentine beings, these animals were amongst the seas and waters. And he began to notice that the water was of a different consistency, and the content was that which would be indescribable to humans. And he believed that he had lost his mind. Upon return, he was told that perhaps he had gone mad, but it is not so. He reached the entrance of inner earth, and he was beginning to see the collectives of animals and beings that were primarily from the Sirius B collective. And within the Sirians that occupy these waters, they are neutral, highly advanced beings who could have transmitted him into inner earth rather easily through a portal underneath the seas. The beings are beautiful and unique. Some have called them dragons, some have called them fairy, some have called them mermaid. There are vast tales and names, and within your stories, none of which matter. The definitions matter not, but they do exist in our worlds.
Beautiful. How may one know that they're visiting Agartha during a shamanic journey?
You would likely be greeted by a Telosian being. You have called them Nordics, Pleiadians, and they do look similar, although we are alliances with the Pleiadians. We are in different dimensional frequencies and planes of existence. I would likely greet you as a portal keeper, and you would not forget. You would not forget any Telosian greeting, for the sound is beyond the beauty of your tones and musical scales. You would be greeted by vast frequencies that warm and calm your heart. These beauteous frequencies produce a resonance, an orange flaming portal that cannot be forgotten, and it will be directed by you, and there is nothing to fear. A lot of times, many channels produce this frequency of the portal within their dream state. The portal is, again, orange, and it appears to be of fire, for that is the closest reference point that you would hold. But it is elemental. It is not an earthly element. Therefore, your mind produces something similar, and you begin to perceive fire. Many of you who are fearful have created a story that this is a portal to what you would define as hell. But it is not so.
Thank you. How is it most easiest to get in contact with you and deliver your messages?
When you get in contact with you, you deliver your messages, understanding and releasing this belief in separation, thanking it, for it did serve you in this time. Connection is what humanity lacks. When this is no longer, you can easily be a part of Telos. We have always existed.
Thank you. Can you give us a little bit more information of how we may connect better throughout each other and with you?
In your stages of ascension, there must be a release of judgment. When you forgive and cease the judgments of your fellow brethren, you can also begin the journey inside of your heart to forgive yourselves. When this occurs, and there is nothing further to judge, and you understand and release victimhood mentality, the vast, powerless frequency that encompasses humanity will cease. And in this cessation is the birth of grace. And you will be, for once, in our dimensional frequency, as one with your brethren and sisters.
Will you give us a definition of what grace is to you that can explain it to the human conscious collective to really understand what grace is and what it feels like for them?
It would require activity within the channel and a demonstrator.
Okay.
We will attempt. You are the demonstrator.
Okay.
Come where they can see you. This is grace. It is beautiful. And you feel it in your hands in this moment. And it makes you feel safe and loved. You choose not to define it. You may not know what it is. You simply feel it in your grasp. And now I will give it to you. Within this is the gift wherein all worries are released. How can you say that anything can be bad? You can return it to me if you will. I can give it to you. It is simply a gift, and that is all.
Thank you.
Grace is there, always, given, returned. It is an act of service, an act of love. Notice I did not define the object held in my hand. in the moment of the giving. I did not judge the object held in my hand in the moment of the giving, nor in the moment of the receiving. I simply held my hands forward to receive, and I reached my hand forth to give. There was no thought, there was no judgment of it being good or bad. It simply belonged to myself when the time came, and it belonged to the being in front of me when that moment would come. It will always be there. You cannot make it go away. It is something that cannot be denigrated by your stories. It cannot be made invisible by belief. It penetrates the wall of all belief, of all judgment, and of all attachment. Grace is your gift. There is no human definition that would make this comforting to your hearts or minds. We cannot define something that is beyond a human reference point, but please know that it is the one thing that can help you get past belief systems. Grace does not hold form. The content is love, acceptance, and peace. And it is the content that will release the beliefs. And then all forms that you have contrived will fall apart in your hands. And when you observe them at your feet and observe your vulnerability and in the eyes of all of the angelic beings that serve you so lovingly, you will no longer need to clothe yourselves in any belief.
Thank you. Okay. What do the high priest and priestesses do in Lemuria?
They have various roles and titles. The priestesses are examples of the Divine Mother. They are the shamans and the great rulers of all the lands in Argathia. The Divine Feminine is equal to the Divine Masculine. We do not perceive each other as lesser than or greater than, but we do have unique roles. There are many that have performed roles of ascension within the Divine Masculine collective, the medical sciences, understanding the human cellular debris that must be cleared in order for ascension to occur. The females in the Lemurian collective have primarily been spiritual guides to humans and Pleiadian beings. For as long as you can contrive when you believe in time, there are too many roles to count.
I'm sure of this. This earth has three realities: above, on the surface, and hollow earth. Are you in contact with the beings above earth? And if so, can you explain how and when and how all three levels of earth are going to unite?
We in Telos do not observe that anything is separate. We observe that you are caught in the dissolution belief systems, which are walls that create this perception of separation. You are perceiving this lie of three levels of something as if anything can be lesser than. We are in contact with various collectives who are in unity with the human race and helping you release such belief systems.
Thank you. How are you going to be part of the birthing of the new earth? And can you give us an approximate timeline?
We are that Earth. There is no timeline. Earth is a library with more dimensional planes of existence than you can count on any of your extremities. Perceive in the trillions of planes of existences that exist in Gaia alone. And consider the complication of how long it would take in this channeling and others to list the various races, the various dimensional games, the various lessons, and how those races serve you and releasing and expanding through such lessons and beliefs. New Earth is and has always been. It is a matter of when you choose to perceive her.
Beautiful. Thank you. Adama, will you please tell us, how old is the Earth really? Who were the original inhabitants, and how old is your civilization?
Our civilization is older than you can understand. But within the first 150 layers of your Earth's crust, this civilization alone is around 10,000 years old. When the first Lemurians made contact with Earth and began to project through human bodies there, we were around 12,000 years old even. But it matters not, because that is a perception of time that is not truth. We and you and others have always been in existence simultaneously. This is not a linear perspective. Therefore, it is not something to easily grasp in your minds if you are perceiving before or after when something has always been. How can there ever be a true beginning point?
Thank you. Okay. Can you please speak more about what you do as time masters and portal keepers? Thank you.
When you are aligned within the higher frequencies, and when it is appropriate for your expansion, you will choose one of our portals and we will guide you through it. When this occurs, you perceive everything differently from a non-human perspective. You begin to observe as you have received the truth. When you go through one of our portals, you can experience hundreds and thousands of lifetimes, one behind the other. And then if you choose, return back to the third dimensional plane of existence. And in this earth portal, once you return, you will have only lost 5 minutes worth of time. We are teaching you the importance of this, the importance of how all of your egoic beliefs can fall away when you have spent thousands of years in another land. And then you are asked to return and remember everything and everyone and every moment, every memory, everything that is special to you. When you have ascended and you believe that you can do this because time does not exist, then you will jump through these portals quickly, efficiently, living many, many lifetimes simultaneously and expanding through many ascension principles taught by Lemurians and Atlanteans.
Thank you. How can we connect to the inner earth during our trips to Mount Shasta or any other portals?
In the particular portal that embodies Mount Shasta, it is a gateway directly into the main cities of Lemuria, and specifically into Talos. You will definitely be greeted by Ayadamas, or perhaps my beloved, it matters not. You will hear tones that you cannot identify. You will hear sounds that are more beautiful than what the normal human brain can comprehend. Do not be frightened. You experience things in these portals that will cause your beliefs, again, to fray. If you trust in what is occurring in your body and in your mind, then you will release the shell of body and mind, and you will travel through your light body. But if you do not, this can be difficult mentally and emotionally. Therefore, it is wise to meditate, to release fear, and to trust. And then you can connect to us quickly, efficiently, and activate your dormant etheric DNA that stands and longs for a great activation. And you have asked for this from us. We are simply honoring your wishes.
Thank you. Were the Hindu gods and goddesses a part of the human civilization on Earth, or were they extraterrestrials? And if so, from where?
These light-eyed, beautiful, blue-skinned beings were primarily coming through the Syrian portals of Talos and activating. They were both human and extraterrestrial, if you would believe that anything could be extra.
Thank you. What is the most important thing you would have us take from this channeling?
We advise you with great love and compassion, without invalidating the difficulty of your human experiences, to release all beliefs, to flow and surrender into the truth of what is. And within the vast isness of grace, within this allowance, your ascension is still and quiet and loving. We advise you to stop seeking for into the quiet becomes the beauty of all sound. And within the principles of the divine sound currents created by Talosians, you will perceive grace and remember who and what you are.
Thank you. How did the Argathians come to live inside the earth?
We do not perceive that we are inside or outside. That is your perception. We do not believe in solid or hollow. Again, your perceptions and definitions. This is beyond what can be explained in a human definition. If you are aligned to the belief that Earth is hollow, you are operating in a lower fourth-dimensional precipice. That too is an invisible wall, a belief, if you will, that continues to make you question everything from intellect. Earth is ascending into this fourth-dimensional experience now. You are observing and questioning things for the first time. And this is a grand experience, but it will not last long. When you are ready to release your stories, when you are ready to understand that nothing makes sense, and the more you believe that you know, the less you truly know, then you will be ready to understand the Talosian algorithms and understandings of ascension, and the simplicity even of the grace that occurs therein.
Thank you. Is there any connection between the Argathians and the world of Asgard?
Again, within the contrived nature of your human stories, if you believe that there would be, we will honor your belief, but we do not recognize a connection.
Thank you. Do you have anything to do with the mysterious sounds people hear all over the world and cannot locate? What is it? And thank you.
The infrastructure within the plates of your Earth's crust are perpetually shifting and changing and will give you a greater experience of sound. The portals that are being activated within the movement of these plates produce a great experience, a sound that you cannot identify. And yes, this has much to do with at least the first 150 feet below your surface of Lemuria. But you need to think deeper. Go beyond sound, listen, go within it. There are layers and layers upon this sound that will pull you very deeply into the core of you. Within the core of you is the truth of all universes. And remember, there can be nothing extraneous.
Thank you. Okay, we'll do 2 more questions. Let's see. What crystals on the surface would help us most connect with Lemurian energy? Okay. I cannot currently hear anything. I cannot hear Pamela at all. I can see her, but I cannot hear her.
I think we hopped into a time portal.
Believe we're in a time portal, people, because I cannot hear Pamela. May we please bring Pamela back, as we cannot hear her at all. Thank you. I can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can. Everybody's like, we're in the portal together. We all lost your voice.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. This has been crazy.
I knew this would happen. I just had this feeling. I even brought in my most grounding crystal. I'm like, well, if I have to go through a portal, then please make sure everyone can hear me. And he was like, I cannot promise that. I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah, it was crazy. This has been so beautiful, and I'm sure everybody that's watching this can feel the energy through this because it's outstanding.
I feel really good. I feel like I need to go take a run now.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I'm like, whoa, life is so beautiful.
All right.
Thank you so much. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to put you, it's past 4 now. It's 4:05.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'll let you do your closing.
Thanks for having us, guys. Thanks for watching us and dealing with all of our technical difficulties. We'll try to get a good edit on all of this. For whenever you see the replay, hopefully it'll be okay. So we're very sorry about that, but I cannot control it. I have bought so much equipment in my life, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to do next. So I love you guys. Thank you, Megan. You can find Megan. She's an excellent channel as well. You can find her at megancovington.com. You can find me at aurareader.com. If you're watching this from YouTube as a replay, you can take part in these live channelings or become a guest interviewer by emailing me at pamelaaralyn@gmail.com. And you can take part in the channelings by asking live questions if you go to patreon.com, patreon.com/my name, Pamela Aaralyn. So that's how you take part in it. We enjoy it. We really do. It's a beautiful, sacred experience. And I think this is it. We should bow out now and go enjoy the energies. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Megan.
Bye. Thank you.